So as I mentioned earlier, next part of the presentation is of our program is we are going to have a class by Her Grace Mother Urmila. So Mother Urmila is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and she's been serving ISKCON since 1973. And her major contribution has been in the field of education. She is the chair for the Shastrik, ISKCON Global Shastrik Advisory Committee, and she's also served as the editor or associate editor for the Back to Godhead magazine, which is a worldwide magazine for more than 30 years. So she actually has a PhD from a University of North Carolina here in Chapel Hill. And we are blessed that she's actually been staying here. She's a resident devotee here, and she's very, very advanced and very, she has so deep realization. So we are very fortunate to have an association here. And today is actually a very unique presentation, right? So Srila Prabhupada in 1965, he founded this ISKCON society. And when he founded this society, he actually established 7 core purposes of ISKCON. And he actually formed these purposes as the guiding principle for all our services and everything, how we are actually furthering the ISKCON movement, right? So every one of us, we should actually know these core 7 purposes. Now, Mother Urmila, this is actually 2 years back when the project started? Last year, okay. Within the last year, this actually we have this ISKCON Leadership 3.0. So it's like all over North America, you know, different devotees came together, and Mother Urmila led this entire project where she actually formed this entire vision, starting off with the 7 purposes of ISKCON. If we actually take these 7 purposes of ISKCON and further this, how would the world look like? And it's very, very inspiring, very wonderful. And so we are going to have the presentation. And while this presentation, Mother Urmila is giving this presentation, please, like either if you have pen, paper, or just on your cell phone, write ideas of how you can actually further the services here in New Goloka towards the 7 purposes of ISKCON, right? And then we'll have like a time for discussion, and you can share your ideas. And this will be our direction of how we want to grow in our New Goloka, ISKCON New Goloka community. So it's going to be very, very inspiring with wonderful ideas. So please have your pen, paper ready, or on your cell phone, write down points of how you would like to serve, you know, this ISKCON New Goloka community. And then we can actually have a discussion, and we can actually discuss the points, the projects that you are inspired by, and see how step by step we can grow in those projects. Right? So let's invite Her Grace Mother Urmila. She'll begin the presentation. So yeah, I have the book. That box. So we also have this. Okay, we have these booklets here. So we want everyone to have a copy, which is the 7 purposes of ISKCON and the visionary statement of these 7 purposes. And also, everyone, if you can kindly come forward for the class, please. Everyone, if you can kindly move forward. Come forward. That's good. Okay, devotees, please, if you can come all the way in front, please. Please, 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 please.
If you're watching this online, I don't know, you'll have to get a copy of the PDF. It's one of the 7 purposes, is to bring members closer to each other. And please, those of you in the back on chairs, please just pick up your chairs and move your chairs. Those are movable chairs, easily movable chairs. Can I have a copy of the booklet too? Actually, 2, yeah, at least 1 copy, if not 2. Thank you so much. Now, we did give out a PDF of this before the class on our New Goloka WhatsApp group. I'd like to know how many of you read through the PDF before this class? Anybody? Oh, that's sad. Okay. Well, we'll work with that. Please, if you're sitting in a chair, please get up off your chair, pick up your chair, and move it forward. Maybe someone should be at the door giving out copies to the latecomers. We have another microphone stand that works better than this one. This is going to be a fun class. A lot of you look like the weather outside. Somebody years ago asked me, how do we make Krishna consciousness fun? And my answer is, if you're conscious of Krishna, you'll be having fun. That's what he does. He just has fun. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Balaba Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Balaba Girivaradari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhujale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskachade Shatar. So maybe we've come to the Hare Krishna movement. Maybe we've just come today. This is really annoying, this microphone. Because we're mostly interested in our own enlightenment and our own spirituality. Perhaps we've come just to have a nice cultural evening with some delicious vegetarian prasadam and some kirtan. But maybe we'd also like to see a better world. So perhaps some of you are familiar with Daniel Pink. He wrote a book called Drive. Anybody ever heard of that? So he talks about that the work we do is satisfying to us if it has three elements: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. If we're doing things that are an expression of ourself, like the best expression of ourself, and if we're able to keep getting better and better at it, and we're doing that work for a purpose greater than ourselves. Just like in most Christian-based countries, they have this big celebration of Christmas where people buy gifts for other people. Now you might think, and I've thought, that that's a rather inefficient way to get what you want. Right? If I want to get what I want, I just buy what I want. If I'm giving gifts to all of you and you're all giving gifts to me and to each other, we may end up with things we don't like. But if you could imagine if they had a Christmas celebration where the stores were simply advertising buy gifts for yourself, do you think it would become this big multi-billion-dollar business? Not at all. Right? We're much more inspired at doing things for others. Isn't that a fact? Yes. It's our nature. It's actually our inherent dharma is to serve and to do things for others, to feel that I have value beyond myself. If my life is just spent in living, making sure I have food, making sure I have shelter, and so forth, that's not as inspiring a life as if I've made my mark in the world. I've done something to make the world a better place. I've given something to others. So this Krishna consciousness movement is not just about our own individual achieving of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this whole society. We would just give you, instructions and everybody just go off in the mountains somewhere and just meditate and chant. But it's a way in which using who we are, being who we are, our best talents, our best inspiration, we can then give something to change the world spiritually. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret. And the first part of the secret is going to be depressing. And the second part of the secret is going to be enlivening. So just hold with me through the depressing part, okay? Can we do that? All right. On the material level of karma, we cannot change, improve, do good for anybody ever. If we could, the world would be unfair. Because if I could do good on the karmic level for somebody, I could also do bad on that level for somebody. Would you want anyone to have the power to hurt you in ways that you don't deserve? No. Well, it works with good also. All I can do is be a delivery person for what you yourself have earned. In our relationships on the karmic level, what we could call the transactional level, at best I can be a USPS, UPS, FedEx driver. You've ordered something, I can deliver it to you. Now, the way karma works is if I choose to deliver your good karma, I get good karma for myself, but I don't really change yours. And if I choose to be a deliverer of your bad karma, I get bad karma for myself, but I don't change yours. Does everybody follow that? Okay, now that's kind of depressing because it means that no matter how much I try to help others on the material platform, I can do nothing for them at all. I can do something for myself. If karmically you deserve loving care when you're sick and I choose to give that to you, I benefit karmically. But you would have gotten it anyway, whether I was the deliverer of it or not. Everything on the material level always stays in balance. Whatever good anyone achieves materially, they have to pay for it. Everything remains in balance. My dear friends, on the material level, there's no net gain at all. It's kind of like those creatures that run in a wheel. Spiritually, and that's the depressing part, we got that out of the way. Spiritually, it's completely different. Spirituality isn't something you pay for. It isn't something that one deserves. It's our inherent nature, and it's dynamically expanding. There's no downside to it at all. And someone else doesn't have to deserve it to get it. Nobody can actually deserve it in a sense, or in a sense you can say everybody already deserves it. It's our natural birthright. So if I act as an agent of another person's spiritual good, not only do I benefit spiritually, but I can actually cause an increase in good for that person that has nothing to do with what they've paid karmically. That's wonderful, because that's what I want to do. Don't we all want to do that? Don't we all want to increase good in the world? I hope so. Spiritually, we can. Materially, we can't actually do it. We can have an illusion of it, but it's just an illusion. But spiritually, we can actually do it. We can choose to be an agent of other people's spiritual good. And that person can get something that they didn't order and they didn't, quote unquote, deserve. And the way our Acharya Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this is that the mercy of God follows the mercy of the devotees. That if we, as a representative of God, to whatever extent we're able to do that, if I wish even to do some good for others spiritually, then the Lord follows that, facilitates that. It's like I've dug a canal into which he pours this liquid nectar of mercy for that person. So in spiritual life is where we can have actual agency of change. Srila Prabhupada predicted that through this movement of Lord Chaitanya, we could make the earth the way it was in former ages. It's quite a statement. Tomorrow morning, Krishna willing, I'm going to be giving class on the bad omens that Kamsa saw, which he ignored and went to the wrestling arena anyway. And so I was doing research about bad omens. And one of them is the seasons get all messed up. The climate gets messed up. And I was thinking about how in former ages, when the world was more spiritual, the climate was more conducive. Yeah? Didn't have extreme cold and extreme heat. There was enough rain. It wasn't floods and drought. And we think, well, that's ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous. When we get back in the balance of the world gets back in balance. And you can think, well, I'm so small. What can I do? So that's what we're going to be looking at tonight, that even though we're so small, what can we do? All right, so all of you have a booklet here. with the 7 purposes of ISKCON. These were the purposes that Srila Prabhupada established in the beginning of our movement, as Aditya Narayan said. And I was facilitating a group I think we had at most about 9 people who were working in our group we probably worked about 6 to 9 months. And we took each of these purposes and we pretended that we were in a world where they had already been achieved. Like if you could wake up tomorrow morning and these 7 purposes of ISKCON were already achieved. So we wrote the book in the present tense. For each of the purposes. Now there's some overlap. I mean, you'll read some things that you think, that really could have gone to purpose 1, and that really could have gone to purpose 3. But we try to delineate them. We don't say the book is perfect, but it gives us some kind of a vision. This is where we could go to. And what we're going to try to do today, as much as we can in the next 40 minutes, is to go through this and get into groups according to which purpose particularly inspires you. And as Aditya Narayan said, I think he put it so well. He said, as he was reading through this, he just thought, oh, wow, this is a project we could do. This is a project we could do. This is a project we could do. And what would be the next steps? I mean, I was reading through this again. I'll just give you a little example. I was reading through this again in preparation for today's class. And I got to purpose 5, to erect for the members and for society at large a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to the personality of Krishna. And I thought, there's actually something I could do about this here at New Goloka, because I've been in other temples where they actually create the property as a replica of Vrindavan. I thought this is something that I could start to do. I mean, I'd need help. I wouldn't be able to do it all by myself. But we could designate different areas of the property. You know, we already have a creek. We could designate that as the Yamuna River. We could designate a place as Govardhan Hill. Right? The different pastime places, like in New Vrajdam in Hungary, every building is designated as something, as a different place in Vrindavan. And then, you know, there's like a little booklet for visitors talking about these different holy places. And I thought that wouldn't be that hard to do. I mean, in Inishroth in Ireland, they do it without spending a lot of money. They have really simple signs by those places. They have a tree designated as where Krishna and Balaram killed Danakasura. And there's a little like fake donkey up in the tree. Seriously, it's really cool. And it wasn't expensive. And I thought, wow, we could do something like that. That would be really enlivening to think of all the different places and set this place up as a place of transcendental pastimes. And I'm already working on Purpose 3. Part of Purpose 3 is a vision of how Vrindavan in India could be a holy place where the people of the world would look at it and say, this is a holy place, where things are clean and well maintained, where there's guides. So I've been working with the project doing that for the last, I guess, 11 or 12 years. But this is what I'm asking us to do. Now, a lot of this we are already starting to do. Here at New Goloka, there's a lot of stuff in this booklet that's already started, right? Many, many things. And some things that aren't started here, but are in other places in ISKCON. So as you look through this, please don't think, oh, this is all some kind of dream of, yeah, sure, right, whatever. There's many steps already been taken. Okay, let's go through these purposes. Now, you're not going to have a chance to read through all of them today, but let's just purpose 1. To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all peoples in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. This is the broadest purpose of the 7 purposes. And so this is the largest area of this booklet because it really is so encompassing. It's going for all the people of the world, people in general, right? Checking the imbalances of the values of life. That's a big one, right? Real unity and peace in the world. That's a pretty big one. Systematically, spiritual knowledge, techniques of spiritual life. So we're looking at knowledge and skills, yes? What's spiritual knowledge and how to practice it. So this is primarily an educational and training purpose. Okay, let's look at purpose 2. To propagate a consciousness of Krishna as he is revealed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So this purpose deals with teaching people about the personality of Godhead. Krishna, who looks like a bluish-black cloud, plays his flute, herds his cows, as described in the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. But you know what? Krishna also describes himself in the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita as the taste of water, the light of the sun, the fragrance of the earth. So we have a whole section here about how we could bring a consciousness of Krishna to the world from the Gita and the Bhagavatam. Let's look at some of these. Krishna, this is page 13. Krishna is the taste of water. Understanding this, people aim for maintaining purity of water so that everyone has access to it. Companies that sell water do it invoking Krishna conscious imagery and help people meditate on Krishna when they use water. Krishna is the light of the moon. Planting and harvesting is done in line with the moon cycles so as to improve yield. Krishna is the ability in man. There is a desire to honor different abilities in people. Such consciousness forms the basis for eradicating discrimination in the workplace, sports, and the arts. Krishna is the fragrance of the earth. Understanding this, people respect the sources of fragrance and primarily use natural sources of fragrance and taste in foods, perfume, and body care. The natural integrity of these sources is maintained in a sustainable way. All right, let's turn now to purpose 3. We really want to thank Aditya Narayan Prabhu for getting these printed, and it was such first-class printing job, really high quality. Okay, purpose 3, to bring the members of the society together with each other and nearer to Krishna. So that's talking about the members of ISKCON, and thus to develop the idea within the members and humanity at large that each soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this purpose deals with a consciousness that transcends differences of body, nationality, culture, and so forth. We have a lot in this purpose about dealing with animals, caring for fish, for birds, for the land, eradicating racism, sexism, and so forth. And I really like here, I remember the particular member who had this inspiration. People greet each other on the street with, "I offer my respects to you, eternal soul, fellow servant of Krishna," or just "respect, spirit soul." And I thought that might be something we can work on. That might be something we can do as a simple step forward with each other and bringing each other closer, bringing the members closer to each other. This was talking about having sanghas where we regularly read Srila Prabhupada's books, where we have devotee care. I know we've already established a devotee care group in this community. So those of you interested in that would be working in purpose number 3. And care for people in all the different phases of their lives. Okay, let's go to purpose number 4. To teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy name of God, as revealed in the teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like having an expert. Thank you. So this section is all about bringing the chanting of the holy name into life. I remember having a discussion with one devotee in New York many years ago about, hey, why don't we establish clubs where people get together and chant the holy name and take non-intoxicating beverages and replace the entertainment with that? You know, of course, here we also talk about different religions chanting the holy name, starting different events by the Sankirtan of the holy name. Again, this is something we could do even on a small scale. Is it possible that in our families we can start off each meal, we can start off each part of the day with chanting of the holy name? We have here a vision of having a call to prayer for the 3 times, the 3 sandhyas. Any of you ever been in a Muslim country where you hear the call to prayer? Anybody? Wouldn't it be nice if we had that for the 3 sandhyas? See, that's something we could do here. All right, purpose number 5. So I already talked about this a little bit. To erect for the members and for society at large a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to the personality of Krishna. So this involves making a place like New Goloka a place of transcendental pastimes, setting this up as a replica of Vrindavan. And again, I see that this would not be a difficult or expensive thing to do. And this also involves beautifying, restoring, etc., places like Vrindavan and Mayapur. Should I tell you a sad story? One of my godbrothers, Shiva Ramaswamy, was bringing a relative of his to India, and as they were approaching Vrindavan, he says, "This is the holiest place in our tradition." And his relative looked at the state of Vrindavan and said, "Maybe you should get another tradition." Whoa. And that really stings. It's in some ways better, some ways worse. So I was brought up in the Jewish tradition, and I first went to Israel when I was 3. And after Israel won Jerusalem and the West Bank, my mother was born in Jerusalem. I have had taken many trips to Jerusalem. I've also gone to Bethlehem and so forth. And I tell you, those places are beautifully maintained. They're clean. The buildings are nicely maintained. There's an effort to have a religious atmosphere in those places, and we should really do the same for our most holy places. We would like it if people would not just go to the Taj Mahal, but they would want to go to Vrindavan as a very attractive place to go. All right, purpose 6. Now, this purpose 6 is the only one that's just about ISKCON. This is the only one that doesn't go out to society at large. To bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simpler and more natural way of life. Now, I know we're already working on doing a lot of that here in New Goloka, but there's more that we could do. And this is for people who really want to brainstorm, how can we have a simpler and more natural way of life, not only here at New Goloka, but how could we use New Goloka as a center for teaching this to people? We have a list here. If you turn to page 40, the kind of techniques that we could be teaching: growing food, drying and canning food, vegetarian cooking, growing medicinal herbs, mental health preventative and curatives, midwifery and childcare, caring for cows and other livestock, training oxen, bulls, and horses, making fabric from naturally grown fibers, making clothes for people and deities, making jewelry and ornaments for people and deities, carpentry, metalworking, pottery, making musical instruments, waste reduction and management, forest management, alternative energy. This is not a comprehensive list. But this is the kind of thing, if you're interested in this purpose, are the things you already know in this respect. Have you made your own soap? Have you made your own candles? Have you made your own clothes? Have you made your own perfumes? I know we have one member of our community who makes her own perfumes. Is this something that then you could teach to others? Could we have some classes, maybe on Sunday before the feast, right? Like from 3 to 5 or something. You say, well, I'll be offering classes for a month in how to have waste reduction in your house, how to compost. Yeah? Right? I remember visiting India in the 80s, and all the Indians knew how to do these things. Isn't it? right? There wasn't plastic waste everywhere in India. You all, some of you, if you're older, you remember this? You remember? I mean, people were using all natural, biodegradable materials. And India is one of these ancient civilizations where everyone knew how to live in harmony with the earth. Yeah. So teaching each other. And then the last purpose, with a view towards achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute periodicals, magazine, books, and other writings. And I'm sure if Prabhupada were physically present with us today, he would have included all the burgeoning media. So this is a section about publishing magazines, publishing books, writing blogs, making videos. Right? How can we take all these things from the other purposes and get them out? Okay, so what I'd like to do for the rest of this time is divide up into 7 groups, depending on which purpose interests you. And I would suggest you take a purpose where you're already doing something or you already have an interest in that something. Again, we want to pick something that's a good expression of ourselves. And then think of something simple. This booklet is big, the big ideal, but think of something simple, like 2 parallel lines, right? If one line moves over 1 millimeter, only 1 millimeter, is it going to end up at a very different place? Yes? Many, many times, my dear friends, we think that in order to have big effects, I have to make a big change. That is not true. We can do very small changes that don't require a lot of time, energy, money, or thought that produce huge differences in our lives. Have we all had experience of this? Have you ever made a big difference in your life by moving a piece of furniture in your house? Anybody ever had that experience? Yes? Move one piece of furniture and your life changes and you're like, wow. I just took my toaster oven and keep it in a cabinet instead of on my kitchen counter. And it was like, wow, that was huge. I got a screen to put up to cover where my wet laundry is hanging up. And now my whole room is twice as beautiful. It was a very small thing. Waking up 15 minutes earlier. Doing 10 minutes of exercise. Standing up once every hour and stretching. Small things, right? Not snacking before you go to bed. Very small, little things. Yes, everyone has experienced this kind of thing. Yes? I was once, had the great pleasure, I suppose, of dealing with a group of children who were very rude to each other and really out of control. And we just made a simple reward system where they rewarded themselves. Whenever they did the right thing, they put in a little like marker. And then they got points at the end. And whoever got the most points got things like raisins. I mean, it was really simple. And they could reward the other children for being polite and considerate. Within 2 weeks, the whole atmosphere completely shifted. And everybody was polite and considerate because you knew if you were polite and considerate that somebody would give you a reward thing in your little pocket. It was a very small change, but it had a very big effect. So what I want you to think about in your group is what small change could we make toward this purpose? What's something we could actually do, at least to make a step towards it? Come up with something where you could make a step towards it in the next week. Many, many years ago, when I lived here previously, I didn't understand this principle. I was trying to develop Krishna conscious curriculum. I'd got a big grant, and I was trying to develop an entire curriculum for everything. And when the grant money unexpectedly stopped after a year, I was told I was going to have it for 10 years. All I had done was start a bunch of things, and I never finished any of them. And I'm like, oh, that's not the way to do it. And some years later, a good friend, some of you know Anutam of ISKCON Communications, he said to me, Urmila, do something that you can finish, that's simple, that's within your power to do, that will be valuable in and of itself, but that can be built upon by you and others for something bigger. So that's also what we're looking, and that changed my whole life. Do something that you can do that's within your current resources, time, energy, money, connections, that you can do, that's valuable in and of itself, but that can also be built upon by you and others to expand. I just finished a course in designing online courses, and one of their mottos was, iterate your way to awesome. So I'm going to ask you all to do that. Iterate your way to awesome. A small thing that you could do in the next week, and that you could take another step, and another step, and another step, and another step. And each step is complete in and of itself, and others can build on it. Don't try to build a piece of an airplane. You can start off, a big 747 jet. You can start with like a paper airplane. You understand? Then you can have a wooden model airplane. But each step should be valuable. Any question about what we're going to do? Yes. All I have is a very little toaster oven. It would take me a long time. I could probably only make a pizza. You know how big a toaster oven is, right? I could just make a one-serving pizza at a time. By the time I finished making a one-serving pizza for each of you, the first one would have become completely cold. So, sorry. I can make Simply Wonderfuls in large quantity in my place. I have to borrow a bowl from the temple kitchen, but I could do that. Maybe next time we'll do that. Yes. 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 We're going to make groups for each of the 7 purposes. Read the purpose together. Look through. You won't, if you're in purpose 1, you won't be able to read everything. It's too long. But read through some of the things in that purpose, and then you decide. Talk about what you can do. Maybe some of you will want to work together. And again, something you can do this week, even if it's just a step. Is that clear? Yes? And my apologies to those of you online. Sorry. All right. So, we're going to be moving around here. Oh, that's what we need, leaders. Okay, who's going to be a leader for purpose 2? Everybody, if you want purpose number 1, go over there. Who wants to be for purpose 2? That's one. That's one. Who wants to be for 2? Who's going to lead purpose 2? Well, okay, just purpose 2 by Mother Krishna Priya. Purpose 2 by Mother Krishna Priya. Please, everybody, who wants to, where are we going to have purpose 3? I'll be purpose 3. I think that's the one I want. Is that the one I want? No, that's not the one I want. I want purpose 4. Who wants purpose 3? I'll take 4. I'll take purpose 4. Who wants 3? You'll take 3? Okay. Baby's gonna take 3. Purpose 3. I'll take 4. You can come over here for purpose 4.
Hare Krishna. 7? Go, Pema. Okay. There are Okay, Hare Krishna. So, did everyone find the group? 6? Okay, group 6 is right here. Number 3 is here. Okay. And what group are you looking for? 7 is Gopinacharya Prabhu. 7. 7. Okay. Okay, so if you don't have a group, if you are not sure which group, you can join group 1 or any of the groups. Group 5, who's group 5? Anyone in group 5? Group 5? Okay. That's group 4. Who's group 4? Kirtan group. Okay, all Kirtan group. Group 4, go there. You're looking for
I was thinking of 5.
group 5. Who's group 5? Group 5. Group 5. Group 5. You're group 5? Yes. Okay. So you form a group.
Yeah.
Yeah? So you three can sit together. Prabhu, you want to join any group? Yes, sir. Where's group 6? Anyone? Yeah, group 6. Okay, so everyone is part of a group? Okay. Okay, so everyone, we have 15 minutes for your group.
Out of this discussion, we have to come back with the steps, like what we're going to take.
Okay, so everyone, out of this discussion, while you're reading the section, please write down few basic, like as Mother Urmila said, like few steps you can actually take towards that direction. And it could be like a small baby step in that direction. But please write down what you would like to do. Okay? Thank you. So we are doing this for 15 minutes. Hare Krishna. So, Mataji, are you all reading individually? Okay, quickly read and discuss. Go on.
We are reading one paragraph. You can read first paragraph.
What's purpose 5? Purpose 5 is what?
Purpose 5 is to build,
Oh,
like,
this is what? Like, so, Mother was mentioning our new Braj.
yeah, yeah.
Hello? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. This was just a little start. And please see what you can do to keep up the momentum. I would like to invite you to take these booklets home and read through them and see what else you could do. How many of you came up with at least one little thing that you could do that you could start working on within the next week? How many of you came up with at least one little thing? Very, very good. And I'd like you to share this with your friends, relatives, and stuff who weren't here. And we also have this, we put it in the WhatsApp group in a one-page instead of a booklet type electronic format. And to keep meditating on this and iterate your way to awesome. All right? And remember, just a 1 millimeter change brings you to a whole new place. Okay? I hope this was enlivening for everybody. And I want to really thank Leela Shakti and Aditya Narayan Prabhus who really made this, what we did today, a reality. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada's 7 purposes for ISKCON Ki.
Thank you so much, Mother Urmila. This is so exciting and so inspiring. So let's give a big Hari Bol to Mother Urmila. Hari Bol! So before you break out from the groups, can we have one person from each group who would post something on New Goloka about your points you would do? Yes. Anyone from here? Who's going to? Okay, Mani Kumar Prabhu will post something on New Goloka about few points. Anyone from this group? Okay, anyone from this group post on New Goloka? Prabhu will post. Okay, Hemant Prabhu. Anyone from that group? Rishikesh Prabhu. Okay. Anyone from this group will post on New Goloka? Vijaya Mataji? Okay, Vijaya Mataji will post some ideas on New Goloka group. Yes, for this. And then from here. Yeah, okay, Sri Radhe Mataji. And then here. And then you can post something, we'll talk. Okay? And then this group. Post some points. Yeah, okay. So who's going to post? Saruvet. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So that's so wonderful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so thank you all so much. It's so nice to see that the discussions cannot stop. And that's what we want, that please continue the discussions. Take it downstairs for prasadam, talk more. Keep the energy going. Keep the energy going, right? And that's how we can actually make some wonderful advances in the 7 purposes of ISKCON. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. I want your attention for just 2 minutes, everyone. Hare Krishna, before we go down for prasadam, 2 minutes, everyone. Can I have your attention? Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Okay, thank you, please. Just a few quick announcements. Okay, so coming up next Sunday, we'll be celebrating Shivratri. Okay, so next Sunday, 19th of February, we are celebrating Shivratri festival. So please do join us next Sunday for the Shivratri festival. And also next Saturday, this coming Saturday, we are going to have our monthly Sankirtan festival in Cary. So we'll be going out for book distribution this coming Saturday, 18th of February from 2:30 to 5. So please join us for the monthly Sankirtan festival. Even if you have not done book distribution before, just come out as a group and it's a fun. We do it as a group activity. It's a lot of fun. So next Saturday, 2:30, the book distribution will be in a Cary area. And next Sunday, we will have Shivratri celebration. Okay. Also, we are requesting prayers for Rohini Nandan Prabhu and Bhavai Mataji's daughter, Kalindi. She went through a big heart surgery. And Krishna's mercy, and many of you know I have already been praying. But we also wanted to make a collective prayer here in front of Sri Sri Radha Golokananda. Let's pray that Kalindi, she recovers very quickly and we can again see her here in the temple. So let's loudly chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a prayer for Kalindi. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai. Narsimhadev Bhagwan ki jai. Also, this is a time that we are encouraging everyone to get a full set of Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you don't have a full set of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is a wonderful set of 9 books and it's a life and teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Please stop by the welcome table, the book table next to the prasadam, and please collect your full set of Chaitanya Charitamrita. We have a special festival prize going on for that. Okay. Okay, so we have some announcements from Vikasan.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we have this birthday blessing seva. Many of you have heard about this. For those of you who have not, we do have this birthday blessing seva where you sign up for your birthdays, your children's birthdays, your family's birthdays. And what we do is in the week where your birthday falls, we will have a list like this printed. And this sheet, there's a copy of this on the altar as well. And we have our senior pujari, His Grace Satyavat Prabhuji. He actually prays for these devotees. He prays to Lord Nrsimhadev for protection. He prays to Panchatattva for devotion. And he prays to Shri Shri Radha Golokananda for the overall spiritual welfare. And on the day of your birthday, you get Shri Shri Radha Golokananda's blessings. So this week, we are celebrating the birthdays of Mother Gaurangi. Hari Bol! She's right on in that corner, my right. We also have, and Mother Gaurangi is extremely talented. She makes such beautiful. It's today. It's today. Yes. So she's extremely talented. She makes these Trayodashi that you saw just a couple of weeks ago. Yeah? You remember that? Mother Gaurangi was the designer of that. Haribol! Let us all chant. Let us all chant for Mother Gaurangi. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. She also teaches the preschool. So any of your children would like to enroll, you have the teacher right here.
So our new Goloka calendar, see the front cover. Anand said this is the best front cover we have ever. So this is designed again by Gaurangi.
Haribol! So yes, her birthday is today. And other birthdays we have this week. Monday, February 13th is Prasanna Bejugam and Navaneet Krishnan. On Tuesday, Giriraj Hairston. Wednesday is Sunny Yadav. And Friday is Aksharam Pradhan. Are any of the others here? Some of them are downstairs? Okay. So let us all chant for all of them. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. If you would like to sign up, please scan this QR code at the bottom right of this sheet. A form comes up, fill out the form, and you will be in the system. Thank you very much. Hari Hari Bol.
Haribol. So also we'd like to thank the sponsors. The Prabhu just announced Navneet's birthday is in this week. So we'd like to thank Sunil Prabhu. Viji Mataji, is she here? I think she's gone to pick up the Navneet from the Sunday school. So it's Navneet's birthday. So they actually have sponsored the entire feast today. So let's Haribol. So let's pray for Navneet that he's doing very wonderfully in the Sunday school. We pray that he becomes a wonderful, grows in his Krishna consciousness. So let's pray for a very auspicious life ahead. Let's chant the holy name for Navneet. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So also, my parents are celebrating their 50th marriage anniversary. So they have, actually today is the day, but they actually wanted to sponsor the feast today for all the Vaishnavas. So please pray for them that they can grow in their Krishna conscious journey. Please, if you can all loudly chant and pray for them. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So just one point about these booklets. So we printed many copies, right? And so anyway, I know both like, husband, wife, and also the child. I think all three of you got copies. And if you just need one for the family, right, then you can always keep it at the book table. We can distribute to others. So if you need multiple, if you need independent, you're welcome to keep it. But if you just need one for the family, you can just give it at the book table. Okay. Thank you so much. So again, we'd like to thank Mother Urmila for the wonderful, everyone is inspired and has this mood of doing more for New Goloka, for ISKCON society. So thank you so much for the wonderful, very valuable presentation. Haribo! So thank you so much. So our next program is Prasadam downstairs. We'll proceed downstairs. And today's Prasadam has been cooked by Prasanatma Prabhu, Sadhvi Radha Mataji, and the entire team of devotees. Haribo! Hare Krishna.
Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmane Vaishnave Svalpa Punyavritam Rajan Vishwaso Neva Jayate Sarira Vidyaja Jadendriya Traheka Jive Phale Vishaya Sagare তার মধ্যে জীবায়তি লোভময় সুদুর্মতি তাকে যেথা কঠিন সংসারে ও কৃষ্ণ বড় দয়াময় হরিবারে দিবা জয় স্বপ্রসাদন দিল ভাই Naamrita Pao Radha Krishna Gunaga Preme Dako Shri Chaitanya Nita Jaini Mai Jaini Tai Oh Jaini Mai Jaini Tai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bhagavad Mahaprasad ki jai Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.